Hi guys, I've got a page in my pocket page notebook today using up a whole pile of scraps from what would probably be my favorite Maggie Holmes collection. I think it's Gather. I was going through my stash trying to clear out my paper drawers because they are overflowing, and I found a whole pile of these little scrappy bits of paper from the Gather collection. So I decided, why not do a page? I had a couple of photos of me and Lil that I think I had printed for a Project Life, but they never actually ended up going in there. So I'm going to use those up. And if you check out the description box down below, Michelle from the Stamp Spot has very kindly given me a code to share with you all. You can get a whopping 30% off any pocket page notebook, doesn't matter what size, regular or mini. You know I'm a fan of both, but do take advantage of that code down there. It's only for the next week, so all the details are down below, but you can be sure that I am grabbing myself a few as well. So all I'm doing really is just piecing these scrappy bits of paper together all over the page. I'm not doing, as you can see, a great deal of measuring. Some of the pieces I'm sticking down in sort of the whole chunks that they're in, and the rest I'm kind of cutting to fit into there. So I used up a fair amount of those tiny little scraps, and I'm really pleased. They're not really any good for anything else, but I did not want to throw them away. So I've got my whole left side covered up. And it's just a range of papers. There was no sort of, rhyme or reason to it. A couple of them I've repeated twice, but as you can see, this is where my photos are going to go. So the majority of that is going to get you covered up anyway. So I wasn't super worried about what pattern was going where. My little photos, and they're not the best photos, which I think is probably why they never got used in my Project Life. And they don't stand out particularly well against that busy background. So I'm just backing them with a couple of pieces of, and it's actually like just really thin lined paper from an exercise book. I had created my own notebook insert for something else entirely, and I had these little off-cut pieces left over sitting on my desk, and I thought they would be perfect for backing these photos, and they really are, because it's not a super opaque paper. It's kind of thin, but not as thin as, say, vellum, so it's just a nice different texture to use. So there you go, some more scraps used up. So I am definitely on a roll with getting rid of some of this scrap paper today. Before I stick them down onto the notebook, I am kind of just roughing up the edges of that notebook paper a little bit, just to make sure it gives it a bit of texture and doesn't lay too flat in the notebook. And for my pocket, I am going to use one of my new cut files from the Stamp Spot. I have made a cut file sandwich, so I will leave the link up above to the video where I showed you how to do that super easy with your silhouette. I know lots of you have said you don't have a silhouette, and I totally understand that. It's a fairly hefty investment in crafting, but you know I love them. I couldn't recommend them highly enough. So if you are on the fence about it, I definitely recommend them. So a super easy way to fill up my pocket page here. It goes really nicely with my photos. It's going to be the title, and again I used the same papers to back that cut file. And it's also going to do the job of sort of hiding a little bit of my journaling. So rather than write my journaling straight onto the page there, I decided to use a piece of that same notebook paper. I just ripped out another piece out of the actual exercise book that I was using, and I'm just going to, well, I tried doing it roughly with my nail and in the end had to use a pencil because it's very light paper. Just measuring that out so it's just slightly smaller than the actual pocket page notebook page. And then I am going to type my journaling onto that notebook paper. While I was at it, I also stitched around the outside of the paper, which was a little bit difficult because it was very thin, but it's just going to add, again, another little bit of texture. And once I've stuck this paper down onto my page, I can then go ahead and rough up the edges once again. So I'm keeping things simple as usual. It's funny that I say it every time, and that's just how I work, I guess. But I do love adding a little bit of texture into these pages. Now I had a few of these die cut pieces and these gold leaves left over sitting on my desk. I don't think they're from the same collection, but luckily just about everything at Maggie Holmes Designs all goes nicely together. So I'm sticking down a couple of the gold leaves and then the little rose on top of that. And I kind of feel like because I've added the gold and there's no gold anywhere else, I want to add a little bit of gold onto this side of the spread as well. So I have just a few of these chipboard stickers left over and one of them had gold glitter on it. So I stuck that down and I'm going to add one more of these chipboard stickers onto my journaling page as well. Again, just for a little bit of consistency. And then that's my whole spread done. You can see how easy that was. Don't forget to check out the code down below and grab yourself a pocket page notebook. I'll also leave the link for the cut files that I've designed from the stamp spot. Don't forget to grab that freebie for yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye!